Good afternoon, curling fans, and welcome to the Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships. We are live from the Ottawa Hunt Club in Ottawa, Ontario. Today we have a battle for first place in the men's Pool A as the undefeated Team Ontario take on the one-loss Team Saskatchewan. I'm your host, Pete Stesky, and I'm joined by Team Howard second and potential Team Yogi's bench player, Dave Mathers. Dave, welcome back. You did a great job the other night. You got the approval. Come back for another game here.
Yeah, I got the sign off. Thanks for having me back there, Pete. It's good to be back. And like you said, 5-0 Ontario, 4-1 Saskatchewan. This should be a good one as we're sort of getting down to it later in the week here. Yeah,
final round-robin game for both teams. As you mentioned, Team Ontario from the Guelph Curling Club, 5-0, currently in first place. Their lead, Steve Anderson. Second, Jeff Robinson. Third, Greg Robinson. And their skip, Adam Spencer. They'll start with the hammer. And curling out of Saskatoon, the Sutherland Curling Club. They have a five-man team. This game, they're going with Darren Cam at lead, Jack Brower at second, Michael Steckler at third, and Dean Grenham throwing the skip stones.
Not sure what happened here. It looks like the Team Ontario lead owes the boys around after the game for that.
Yeah, we'll just call that a Hoff. Yeah. He basically Hoffed that one.
I didn't actually see if it picked or if he was just light. I missed that out of the hand, but
yeah, that one had to go another 16, 17 feet to be a decent shot. So what are your thoughts here? Huge game, obviously, with to win the pool. It'd be great. Also to carry that momentum in. What do you know Team Ontario very well? You're a teammate. Nicknamed the Crusher, Adam Spencer. Tell us your affiliation with Adam.
Yeah, the Crusher. He's one of the good guys in curling, as you know. He's such a great guy, and yeah, it was awesome. Got to play with Crusher for a couple of years. He stepped in first for Team Howard when Wayne had the unfortunate ski incident there a couple years ago, and Adam stepped in and played with Team Howard at that provincial and ended up winning and going to his first Brier. So I know Glenn and the guys were more happy for Adam than they were for themselves when they won that. Like I said, Adam's just one of the nicest guys around, and nothing flashy with Adam, but he's like the Swiss Army knife. He's versatile and reliable, and he just gets the job done. So nice to see him back here too, and know some of the Ontario guys really well. Played against them a little while ago, and all-around nice team, and looks like they're having a good week.
Yeah, they're off to a great start. It's funny, you mentioned what a nice guy Adam is, and he really is, but he might be the third or fourth nicest guy on his team.
That's true. Yeah,
I've known the Robinson brothers forever. I still can't tell the difference between who's who. I think one's got glasses on, and well, Jeff does, Greg doesn't, so that's helping me out. But two of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet. They actually won the 1992 juniors together. I played them in 1991. They beat me in a provincial, which forced me to go into tiebreakers. We were lucky to sneak through those, but Adam won in 92. It shows you the level that Jeff and Greg have played at. They played in men's provincials as well. So they're going to be tough, but on the flip side here, this team, Saskatchewan, has already won this national championship. We just had Steve Anderson come in here and ask if we can edit his hog rock out of the footage.
Yeah, no delays here, buddy. Sorry.
No, we are live. So this team, you have Darren Cam, who's throwing lead stones today, actually skipped the 2010 Everest National Curling Club Champions. And Michael was on the team, as was Mark. So they have a lot of experience as well. Shows they've been through the thick of it before in the playoffs, so I think we're set up for a great game here.
Yeah, and I know just from even word of mouth last week out in Saskatchewan, they come from a club with having a history of great ice. So you know they're coming from playing on great ice at their home club to obviously the Hunt Club, and Bill Duck's done a great job here this week. So they should be comfortable on ice like this too.
So Steve chipped in the red one. There's a red center. Open hit here for second stone. Jack Brower Jack was asking if we could just turn his mic off for the day. I'm not sure if he's got a Tourette's issue or what he's worried about, but he's hoping to keep the microphone down a little bit. Mark Steckler is the other player on this team. They rotate, and this is his turn to sit out, but he'll be able to coach the boys and maybe nurse a pint or two to calm his nerves. He's within earshot over here.
Yeah,
so.
And he does have a pint. It's getting down there, though. He looks like he needs another one.
Nice job carving this one over. They actually touched the rocks up. I'm not sure if you were able, and you should have been tuning into the last stream because you do the work, you put in the time, but they touched the rocks up a little bit, so I haven't noticed a huge difference in curl. The ice has been great all week.
Yeah, we call it prep in this business, Pete, the prep work for the next draw. That's what we call it. Yeah, it does look like it does have a little more bite, a little more finish at the end, which is nice to see, and you can even notice it here on some of these hits that they're throwing in the first end. They're curling a little bit earlier, a little more bite on them.
This side by the wall's probably been the straighter of the two sides, but to your point, Dave, it really does. If you throw a nice draw weight, you'll get finish. You can wrap around any guard. It's going to be close to the roll. Very nice shot there. All I have to say is by Robinson, really. I'm going to be right half the time or all the time.
Yep. Nice weight control there on that hit and roll, too. It looked like he threw exactly what Adam was calling for, and easy to call from the skip's perspective. And the sweepers were able to get on it just before the hog line and carve it in there a little bit to get that extra curl in behind the guard.
First indication they're going to chase this with hack, but it's locked in there, buried pretty nicely, so they're going to play the run back. You'd like to have that center guard available if you are Team Saskatchewan, potentially trying to steal. They're going to miss the run back. They got to try to get the shooter out of play. Adam will be able to use corner guards, probably draw around that one, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Do you like that? Do you like the center guard here?
I thought with Hammer, Adam might try and go around one of the corners. It's a pretty stress-free end with nothing in the middle. He could have chose to throw the out-turn draw around that wide corner on the out-turn side.
Yeah, I like that. You feel free. You know him well enough. You can call timeouts if you want. Although it's a little bias in the booth.
I don't know if he'd listen to me. I think if I called a timeout, he'd be hoping I brought him a beer out there. So it might be an expensive afternoon if I start doing that.
This one's going to slide way deep and sort of let Saskatchewan off the hook. There'll be a double opportunity now for Michael. Gonna pop these bios up, see what we have going on.
We've talked about Adam. I just said Adam might want me to take him a beer, but can you just comment on the hospitality here this week and what some of the teams have been able to enjoy? You've been around it for the last 4 days, and Adam made a comment to me just in a text message earlier about how it's just an incredible event and he's having a great time, so maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, it starts with Everest and what they've poured into this event for the players, but it's also a partnership with Curling Canada and an incredible host committee here at the Ottawa Hunt Club. The food has been amazing. Hospitality room back at the hotel. The players really feel like they're being catered to because they are. You've got volunteer drivers. It's a throwback to the way the Brier probably was throughout the 90s and previous to that. I'm not sure if you heard, but now the winner of this event, in addition to winning a national championship, you get a custom-made ring for winning as well as a jacket. But Mark from Everest announced last night to the players that the winning men's team, winning ladies team gets to fly down, all expenses paid to Las Vegas to the Men's World Championship, spend 4 days there, and they're going to get presented their championship rings down there again.
That's fantastic. I actually didn't hear that, but like you said, credit to Everest. It's great supporter of the event, great supporter of curling, and that's fantastic to hear. And another little extra bit of motivation for these players. I think knowing them, I think Crusher could spend a couple days in Las Vegas and do just fine. So
yeah, 2 days in Vegas would feel like a month, I think. But what about you and I maybe throwing a club team together and trying to take advantage of that?
I'm starting to think that might be the move. Yeah.
I mean, you do have, and we'll address it later, you've got an offer from the Yogis, but I think I could top that.
I do. There was a statement put out earlier today by Team Yogis. We'll address it after this first end here. Don't want to interrupt the play with it, but we'll get into that a little bit. Maybe you can give me your comments on that.
Key here for Adam to stick around, Dave. If he rolls out, then Saskatchewan would have the opportunity to draw around one of these guards, get a force. So as much as Adam would love to make the hit and roll buried here, he definitely wants to make sure his shooter stays somewhere in the rings.
For sure. It looks like Adam's playing the role on the to the viewer's left-hand side here behind that left-hand corner guard. But to your point, Pete, it needs to make sure he hangs around here. And I'll go back to a couple shots ago when it looked like Adam had a chance to put a little more pressure on Team Saskatchewan, and he opted to throw a guard, which came in a little deep and let Saskatchewan off the hook a little bit.
Indication is he's a hair up for weights. I think he's going to do what we did not want him to do from an Ontario perspective, and he rolled out. So an opportunity now for Saskatchewan to get the force on with Dean. Dean Grenham throws the skip rocks here for Saskatchewan. He's had a great week so far.
Looks like it. Early Christmas gift there for Dean. He's pretty thrilled to be able to go around this guard. Also for a skip, it's nice to be able to throw sort of a pressure-free draw in the first end too. It gives you the chance to get a little bit more comfortable. You're not in any danger, so Dean will be pretty happy about that too.
My intern near the end of my career got, I'm just going to call it as it is, bad enough that the tap on the red rock, it's in play. So I'd probably go around that wide out turn one to be safer shot for me. This is the correct call, but I'm just saying.
Personal preference.
Yeah, my intern was at a different level by the end there.
Where is it? Okay.
Were you kind of like a Jean-Michel Menard guy? He also had a fantastic intern, obviously Briar Champ. He could throw both turns, but he was about a 90% out turn guy.
Oh, no, I was literally
every one of them.
I had no preference whatsoever. I could miss with both.
I still play Jean-Michel on Wednesday night league here at the Ottawa Curling Club here in Ottawa, and he's beat us pretty bad a couple times over the last few years. He can still certainly play. Mixed champ.
He beat me enough that he actually sent out a Facebook friend request today. There's no chance I'm approving that. Had to be a lot nicer. I like his brother Philippe, though. So an opportunity here for Adam Spencer. Skip of Team Ontario to play the blank. He can see all of it. Just whip this one down the center line here.
This is one of Crusher's favorite shots, too. In turn, hard down the center line. I'd expect this to be pretty close.
Just pure.
Yeah, get ready, Stu.
Yeah, no mistake there.
Clean her up.
So we've got a blank in the first. We'll be back for the second end here. Team Ontario versus Team Saskatchewan, a battle for first place in Pool A. But I think it's time to give some background. Team Yogis, an excellent, a club team out of PEI trying to get better. That's the best way to describe it. You spent some time in PEI. You were mentored by Hoff. What's going on out there?
Yeah, so we'll take this couple seconds between ends here, just in the break in the action, to address a media statement that was put out by Team Yogis earlier. There was an official offer made to myself to join Team Yogis for the next quadrennial. Thank you for letting me come on here, Pete, to sort of address the media post.
It is trending.
It is trending. There's been a lot of activity on social media about it, and at this point in time, I don't think I'm prepared to announce that I'll be taking my talents to Cavendish Beach, as another former athlete has
LeBron
said before. And any further comments will have to be directed to my agent at this time. And sorry, guys, can't commit to that yet. There was a lot of pressure to make a decision today, but that'll have to wait for another time. So.
And is your agent your fiance?
Yeah, she stepped in there and made a comment on the post. She felt like she should be involved in that type of decision. Rightly so, probably. So, Hoff, Doc, sorry, can't comment on that any further right now.
They could actually be charged with tampering because your season is still going on with Team Howard. You've got the provincials coming up. You've qualified directly in?
Well, yeah, we're straight into the provincials in Port Elgin first week of February, so really looking forward to that. And what I've heard, the area of Port Elgin, the Port Elgin Curling Club has done a fantastic job in promoting the event, and really looking forward to that one. That one's sort of the next big thing on our schedule. We have a slam in January, hopefully, and then the provincials, of course, which we're hoping to get back to the Briar this year.
Intern draw here for Darren Cam. Favorite movie, Full Metal Jacket. That's intense. Like, I'm not going to lie. We had that guy on the other night. Huge fan of Legally Blonde, too. This is literally the opposite of that movie.
Yeah, just a note for curlers out there. If you're lucky enough to come to one of these great events, make sure you fill out your bio, because if you don't, the commentators can sort of have free run at it. So.
And we're going to do that anyway, but opportunity here now for Steve to redeem himself. Had a tough start to the game, but lobbed down a nice corner, double centers, trying to go around here. Steve was nice enough to fill out his bio. Favorite curler, Glenn Howard, but I think he ran out of space. He meant to say Glenn Howard second. Dave Mathers, I think, was his answer.
Would have been nice of him. I can't blame him for picking Glenn, though. Maybe the best to ever do it in a lot of people's minds. So, yeah. Also, favorite TV show there, The Office. I actually watched The Office for the first time in full last year, and fantastic.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it myself, but I hear very good things.
I think you'd find it entertaining. That's Steve Carell. It is. Yep.
Intern tap. Little chop and lie here. Hackboard wait from Jack. Just barely missed the sweeping. That was a good throw. He's going to roll out into the open, but Saskatchewan's got two centers up. They're in a decent spot. Jeff, the lefty's going to try to play his intern. This is a spot we've seen, Dave, where this can track a hair if you don't really want a lot of outward motion on this one.
Yeah, Ontario's got to be a little careful here. Saskatchewan has the two center guards up, so if our roll's not made properly by Ontario and Saskatchewan has a chance to make a hit and roll or draw one in there, it's going to be difficult to remove.
That's why I was close on it, because I thought it was.
And checking the bios out at lead, it's very interesting. Steve's favorite team is the Detroit Lions. Jack's is the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I think that'd be a pretty decent football game if they played each other right now.
Great football game. I put money on the Riders. I think the Lions are terrible.
They are not good. Great football community in Saskatchewan. I believe they play in Regina. It's a wicked stadium.
Yeah, Mosaic Stadium. Yeah, there was a Grand Slam there a couple years ago, right beside Mosaic, and just to be able to see it, definitely, if not the nicest, one of the nicest in the Canadian Football League for sure.
Jack's listed at lead in the bio. I know he's playing second this game, but it just made the tie-in a little better, you know.
There you go, for sure.
Yeah. So neither team able to make this roll yet. Second chance here for Jeff. Stewie's trying to jackhammer this one over a bit with the carve.
Pretty gradual spot there, like you said. Looks like they're having a tough time getting to the inside of that rock with the outturn.
So a chance now for Saskatchewan to maybe put some pressure on Ontario. They've got two red centers out front. Intern draw. This is a nice spot here. Actually, if you get a little wider where that yellow corner is, there's a bit of a ridge, I would say, but just inside of that, which is what this one should be, it should move gradually the entire way if the weight's correct.
Switch. Yep. Tight, guys. Get it tight. Right up. Right up.
Good brush by the boys. I'm not sure
Biter. Come on. Biter.
quite going to get a biter. There you go.
Good shot.
You'll probably see Adam have to deal with these two center guards now. You might get even lucky if you hit it right on the one just biting the top of the 12-foot there. Looks like it'll probably go over the top of it. But for Adam, here especially early in the game, want to make sure you score. I would expect him to play the double peel here.
Yeah, oh, he's in the way. I was going to telestrate that one up there nicely.
I saw you
really
were telestrating earlier.
I've been working on it.
Much
back
better.
in the hotel room, I do it. I get crayons out and I practice. Thank you for noticing, by the way.
You're very welcome.
So we might be able to go, like Dave said, red onto red, and it might ricochet back into LaRock. They just threw. But he's going to plant it right there. And now another chance for Saskatchewan to play this wide in-turn draw around the works, and they could lie two.
Wide intern here for Mike. He also just threw it, so it should be pretty close. This might be out a hair wider than what he just threw, but
I like the guys, the job they do with the brushes. They're switching it up when they know that they need to make the rock curl. And I know that sounds at your level like common sense, but some of the teams here this week have been able to do it extremely effectively. That one I liked. They could have continued to sweep it. It would have gone behind the tee. I guess they decided to leave it sort of edge on edge, you think, Dave?
yeah, it looks about edge on edge. With the right weight here, Adam might be able to get this a little bit under the guard, but pretty good shot there from Saskatchewan. And to your point, there's been a lot of sweeping theories over the last couple of years, but no doubt directional sweeping is effective.
That's a thing, yeah.
Both trying to make the rock hold straight and make it curl. So
Well, you haven't played with me. It's not that effective. Good scrub there by Stu. You know what? That's a good shot. He didn't get it buried at all, but this is not easy for Dean.
yeah, nice weight control there by Greg too. Looked like it was just nice hack weight.
You know, like I appreciate what Dean's done here. He's filled, when he asked a guy to fill out a bio, he filled it out. Favorite sports team, he gave me baseball, CFL, NFL, NHL.
That's
that's
good diligence.
yeah,
there,
he's
for sure.
making the effort. Favorite movie, Moneyball. I like that movie. His favorite food is the same as Randy's, poutine. Randy's a babe. Randy's up there right now. He's just crushing some poutine back up in the bar area, doing his Everest roll. Randy Furby's done a great job with the players this week as a host. He's unbelievable at that job. Here's some of that directional sweeping, and they're going to really have to sweep this one. I think this might have got away from him. Looked to be a decent throw, Dave. Maybe was it a hair down because they didn't sweep it early. Maybe it had less weight.
Might have been a hair light. It didn't hit the guard very hard, and the shooter only made it to the tee line. So maybe a little light of what Dean was hoping for. But to your point, looked pretty close out of his hand. And a break here for Ontario with that yellow rock already sort of edge on edge with the red top 12.
Where do you go with this one if you're Team Ontario?
Well, Adam tapped first around the right corner guard. You got to be a little bit careful on that side depending on where you put it. You might leave a double. So I like this play from Adam. He's going to go wide out, turn around the corner, and if he puts it in a pretty decent spot, there should be no double available to Saskatchewan. So I like this play.
This is a Vic kind of question, and I understand it, but Vic does that to tee up his celebrity announcers. He has, just like I do today. Would you ever consider playing the split?
The split.
There's a split out wide there in the out turn. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's possible.
That's why I had to throw it
possible
out
for
there.
Crusher, though, but I don't think that's there.
I don't think you'd ever lie 3 like you need to.
Okay.
Adam got something in his eye. I don't know if one of his beard hairs maybe.
I like the beard he's rocking. And
I do
then,
too.
He shaves his head. That's voluntary. He could grow a mullet out if he wanted to. He's got a great mane of hair. He just chose to go with the Kevin Cooey look, I think.
Yep. Yeah, the beard is a new addition for Adam. I like it, though.
Well, it covers up most of his face, which in general is probably not his greatest characteristic. They're scrubbing hard on this one. The brothers.
Scrubbing this line looks pretty good.
You know what? It ends up in a decent spot. Tough situation right now for Saskatchewan. Their first indication they thought about chasing the one Adam just threw with the intern through the hole. I don't know if they could get shot rock. I know they definitely wouldn't if they froze to it. So now they're looking at a slash double. What do you like here, Dave?
I don't mind this call. This from our angle looks pretty thin. It looks like a thin third, maybe even a quarter to make the double. Third's probably close. Don't hate this call, especially earlier in the game. Last thing you want to do here is give up 3. So you give up a deuce, it's not the end of the world. But this is definitely makeable for Dean.
Yeah, Dean's been making shots all week. For those just tuning in, Saskatchewan has a 4-1 record. Ontario undefeated at 5-0. This is a battle for first place. Final stone, second end. Playing the intern slash.
Whoa!
It's close.
Yeah! Whoa!
Wow, just missed. That's a hard line call. That I would say that's the hardest part. It's hard enough to throw it, but typically, would you say you miss that shot more often? Probably with the overcurl.
Probably thick. The skip's probably going to be a little safe, and the third's probably going to be even safer calling it. The last thing you want to do is you want to have them sweep it, back it up, and then you have air. So a little safe on the sweep call, but not a bad outcome for Saskatchewan, limiting them to a draw for 2.
Yeah, it was a good throw by Dean. Chance for Adam now just to play the exact same draw he just threw. Probably going to take a hair more ice. They definitely don't want to bring this guard into play. And Adam's last one slid into the back 8. So let's say he threw this top 8 instead. He'd probably wreck. So I think they had to take a hair more ice. So hopefully the path is not too different in terms of the speed. Vic Router just texted me. He still really likes the split here.
Yeah, me too.
Line's better.
Okay.
I know he's right.
We're not going to hurt it. We're not going to hurt it, Dave.
Line's good.
Yeah.
This is a good throw.
We don't need it.
You know, juniors, when I played in juniors, it was mostly hitting all the time. Adam always had wicked draw weight. Good example of it there. So put 2 on the board for Team Ontario. They lead Saskatchewan 2-0. Saskatchewan will have the hammer here when we start the third. Going to do some scores here, Dave, to get our fans caught up. All of these are men's games on this draw. So PEI leading the Yukon 1-0. Manitoba stole the first 2 ends versus Northern Ontario. They're up 2-0. Quebec with a big 3 in the first. They're playing the third. Alberta with the hammer down 3-0. BC also kicked a field goal in the first, only it was a steal. They lead Nova Scotia 3-0. Our final game, New Brunswick, Newfoundland. New Brunswick scored a single in the first. They're playing 2 right now. How do you like the game so far? Give me your thoughts.
It's been good. A lot of shots made by both teams, and Ontario's been pretty sharp. If it wasn't for a half an inch from Dean on that last double, it's probably another blank. But good deuce there from Ontario. They were able to. Adam made 2 good draws there with the out turn around the guard, like you said, good draw weight. So
early in the game, I've got to give most improved player to Steve Anderson. His first rock was hogged by, I don't know, a good 13, 14 feet, but now he has found his draw weight. Probably just first rock nerves, knowing that you are in the booth doing the commentary here.
Could be. He did run in to talk to you though after the hog to make sure clarify a few things, if you will. So
yeah. It's funny, Darren was the skip when these guys won this competition in 2010. He's now throwing lead stones. Beauty of that, if you can skip, you obviously have draw weight, so making the transition to lead should be quite easy for a guy at Darren's ability. Steve's favorite movie is The Departed, which is probably in the top 15 movies that Martin Scorsese ever directed, I would say.
Yeah, top 15, maybe a little generous, but up there.
You know, they lobbed him an Oscar, but I think they felt bad because they've robbed Marty so many. I know Martin very well, so I refer to him as Marty.
Favorite food also for Steve is French fries in capital letters.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not sure if there's meaning behind that. He might like a fry, yep.
He really, really likes French fries. I like this call here by Saskatchewan. I see this a lot. I do the streaming for Cooey's team, every game they play, and quite often a team will throw a center and then one behind it, but when Kev has the hammer, he goes to the wing, ignores the situation, and draws around. You guys do that very much yourself?
We do, and Glenn says it all the time. You're throwing the corner guard for a reason, you might as well use it. So for Saskatchewan here, if they can get this loss behind that corner guard, chances are Ontario's not going to chase it if it's properly made and buried. And they can't hit the guard either, of course, with the 5-rock rule. So it's an opportunity on basically a free draw around your corner guard that you threw. And then a lot of teams will choose to deal with the middle rocks on second stones or a little bit later in the end and try and generate their deuce that way.
And this is, like you said, this is a tricky situation here. Ontario could chase that rock they just threw, but if they ever clip that guard off, their rock comes off, that guard goes back up. So Adam's not going to fall for that, and he's going to have Jeff play his wide out-turn draw here. Similar spot to where Adam was throwing his coming down here last end. So he should have a decent feel for the speed.
And by making this shot, 3 rocks pretty much dead in a row, going down close to the center line. So that's something Saskatchewan's going to have to deal with here at some point.
Come on, Caitlin. Let's go, Caitlin. All right, boy.
Oh, they're calling him Caitlin. That is a reference. So Adam came out to sweep there from the rings. Caitlin Laws did a lot of that in that final game versus Tracy Fleury. I'm not sure that's too flattering for Caitlin to be compared to Adam from a sweeping or any-wise other perspective.
No, Caitlin does it maybe the best of anybody. She comes out and the speed of which she can get in there and become the closer sweeper to the rock, and then she just goes as hard as she can for about 15 or 20 feet.
Yeah.
Definitely makes a difference.
Like that throw there, cleared up a couple of the yellows off the front, open up the rock in the back, able to move the other yellow far enough that red lies second shot. Jeff's now going to try to make a play on this half-buried rock of Saskatchewan. Adam didn't fill out his bio, but he obviously filled out Jeff's because it has Jeff's favorite curler being Adam Spencer.
Yeah.
That can't be the truth.
I don't know if that's maybe giving the skip a vote of confidence before the week, or like you said, Adam might have filled out his bio, but I also see it as favorite sports teams, the Montreal Canadiens, and
Crusher's a huge
Crusher,
Leaf fan.
Not the Habs. He's a Leaf fan.
Which is embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of pain for being a fan of that team.
Are you as well?
No, I can't stand the Leafs.
Yeah,
I'm a Sens fan, which can't make many comments about that right now either. The Sens can't win a game, but...
Yeah, but we mentioned this the other day. I mean, the last time the Leafs were, they won the Cup, it was a father-son league. There were 6 teams. I mean, they're bound to win it at some point. Little wreck there from Jeff. That was a very tricky shot due to the placing of the Saskatchewan stone. They're opting to play the hit here. You absolutely have to stay. It's one thing Russ harps on a lot when he does commentary. Obviously, for TSN, he's such a believer in just less weight, less weight, less weight. Especially today with directional sweeping, you can control it. You have more room for error with that, and that's the one thing we'll see, and probably not with these two teams because they play at a very high level, but a lot of the club play, they throw it too hard, hit half a rock, roll out, and their end can be over.
Yeah, the more you can bring the sweepers into a shot, the better. You got a much higher probability of making the shot when you can sweep it, and You see a lot of young players coming out of juniors, and all they want to do is throw the rock as hard as they can. I was probably guilty of that more than anybody. And eventually you learn that the lighter you can throw it, the more tolerance you have on line, and you're better off that way for sure. Glenn's maybe the master at that.
That one got away from them for sure, and now this end is really turned around.
Probably when you think of it, you know, we didn't miss it, but you missed it by that much, just missed it on the wrong half, right?
Just a skinny little tick you saw on the replay there, so a chance for Michael. They're going to split the rings here, draw to lie 3, right?
Draw to lie 3 and spread out. Doesn't look like there will be an easy double available. Maybe the one Mark just tried, or sorry, Greg just tried there. But yeah, pretty spread out 3 rocks here if this is made.
And that's a rock he's going to play. Second opportunity for Greg here. He's going to throw this one harder. Adam calling for a thick half. If he ever over curled, he could get lucky and make the other double.
We've played before, trust us.
Does that count as thinking time? Yeah, it does. The clock's still running because you are still thinking, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Not sure what happened there with Greg. The boys are giving him a little bit of...
I think it was a balk. If we were playing baseball right now, everybody get to move up a base. I don't know what you do in curling in that situation. Maybe have a shot. I'll tell you what, he throws it smooth. Very close to the double here. Hit it real nice, chipped off the back. He's going to be shot. What he did accomplish, though, is there'd be a double available at wide here for Adam. Still an excellent situation setting up right now for Saskatchewan. My phone's just blowing up right now from the Yogis. I think there might be an offer in my future if you're going to turn that one down.
Team Yogi's getting quite a bit of airtime this week for good reason. One of the up-and-coming teams in Canada in terms of the Curling Club Championships.
Nice double there. Yeah, like they're easily a top 200 team in the country right now at the club level. What do you like here? There's 2 doubles available. There's a long one, top 8 on the one just biting the back 8, or they could play the half rocker onto the rock that's on the forefoot. This basically comes down to personal preference, no?
Personal preference. The half rock double onto the one on the forefoot is definitely there. Adam can also make the double that he's looking at here, sort of the straight back, and probably roll over towards the one in the forefoot. That kind of looks like what he's opted for. So try and group the stones for his next one, make Saskatchewan deal with a couple stones that are closer together.
Right.
Adam, a lot of people wouldn't know he's got a romantic side. His favorite movie is The Notebook. It's also his screensaver on his cell phone. I caught that earlier.
Has been for a number of years now, actually, too, yeah.
Yeah, Glenn was telling you that, yeah.
Yeah.
He found it a little weird, but... In-turn double attempt here. First stone of the third end for Ontario skip, Adam Spencer. That's a good shot. Not only the double, Dave, but the roll now to make these rocks. It's going to cost Saskatchewan play a hit and roll away here to get some separation.
Yeah, a real nice throw there from Adam. He, like you said, he rolled over to the Saskatchewan shot rock in the forefoot there. So Looks like he actually got shot stone, so Saskatchewan's going to have to hit this and roll back away probably, but minimize the damage here. It's still Saskatchewan. If Dean can make a good hit and roll here, it's probably still looking like a 2, but take 3 out of play and give yourself a chance to make another double in your next one.
You can see why these two teams are playing for first place in the pool. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They can throw the up weight. Both skips have called a very good game so far. So chance here for Dean to hit and roll away. And if he rolls to the perfect spot, Adam will have no choice but to concede 2. That is a brutal break. Didn't even get out of his hand and it picked. And that is, you know, it happens a lot in curling, but that's terrible. Like this now, for sure it's going to cost him at least a point, but, you know, let's say he was ever to miss his next one. That's just a huge swing, so hopefully he'll be able to put that behind him, regroup, make his next shot, and put a single up on the board, but that's very unfortunate for Team Saskatchewan.
Yeah, just in the matter of a couple shots, probably... you know, at least a 1-point swing, maybe a 2-point swing with Adam making the last double. Yeah, just awful break. You never want to see that.
That happens. Yeah, right. It always sucks when it happens. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? He's able to laugh it off down there, so good for him. I mean, some people would really let that bother him. I love the attitude here on Team Saskatchewan. They know it's part of the game, we all do, but it doesn't, like, I don't think Van Hebert would be laughing right now.
Likely not, no.
In fact, he might be heading back to the locker room to grab a new hardline broom.
Have a few words with himself, yeah.
Yeah. Control weight here based on how much ice Adam took. Looking to hit and stay. I think the double and blank is possibly available here.
Looks like it. Would be a difficult. You could also probably play a hit on the outside yellow and roll in and sort of kick the yellow top 4 sideways and score as 1. But to be able to get out of here with a blank after that bad break on Dean's first one would not be the end of the world for Team Saskatchewan.
Yeah, we're not supposed to cheer for anyone here, but I really do hope he makes his shot given what just happened. And you know what? The guys he's playing, they wouldn't mind it either because they're beauties.
For sure.
He deserves a blank here at worst. Not easy, though. Needs to hit this one fairly thin, the one he's hitting. Hope it gears off of the other rock with the lively striking bands. Again, this is a shot, if you do miss it, you typically miss it full.
Really nice shot there from Dean, well executed, and like you said, sort of justice for his first one there and the bad break. So nice to see Dean make that one and get out of here with the blank.
Yeah, he actually comes out of here after a horrible break with a very positive vibe, making that double. So. Very impressed by the play of both teams here so far. Probably the best game we've had so far this week on the sheet. We've been unfortunate. We've had a few blowouts, but this does not appear to be one that's headed in that direction. Dave just had to step out and field a call from his agent about this Team Yogi situation, so I'm going to handle things on my own for a second. Northern Ontario scored 1 in the third. They trail Manitoba 2-1. Alberta bounced back with 2, but they continue to trail Quebec 3-2. Newfoundland and Labrador tied with New Brunswick 1-1. BC and Nova Scotia traded 3s, then blanked the third. BC has the hammer, tied at 3, playing 4. And right next door to us, PEI taking on the Yukon. They are tied at 1, playing the third end.
I'll go up a few.
Okay.
Like 7.
Yep.
Steve a little heavy on his first here. He would have the least experience on Team Ontario for sure. And I'd never met Steve before the banquet on Sunday, which is another great thing that Everest host committee in Curling Canada does for the players and the athletes. But Steve is an absolute beauty. He'll fit in with these guys very well. He's got a great self-depreciating sense of humor. Very happy to be representing the Guelph Curling Club. My dad used to play at the Guelph Curling Club when I was too young to talk. Went to the provincials out of that club in 1979. Nice hit and stay there. They lie two. Be interesting to see how aggressive Saskatchewan gets here with the hammer. They could hit this. They could throw a corner, freeze, tap. Tons of options. Look like they're opting for the freeze, freeze, tap. What I like about this is these teams are good enough. They can play the scoreboard a little bit with the whole odd end, even end, and things like that. So they'll be aware of that. They throw enough weight, they can get themselves out of trouble if they get into trouble. I think in the fourth, I might throw the corner guard here actually because of the whole odd, even end thing. But they're going to have Darren throw the freeze.
We're nothing.
Unfortunately, just a hair hot. He's going to scoot right by everything and out the back door.
Like that? Okay. Or that. I don't like that though. Let's go here. Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing pretty good, eh?
I know, Dave, that you're not going to be able to address it publicly, but told the fans you had to step away. You got a call from the agent there about the whole Yogi situation, but
yeah, my agent had a couple words. He asked that I don't provide any more public statements at this time while we're in negotiations. So,
and by he, you mean your fiance Lynn, but
that's right. Yeah, she told me to finish this commentating and get home as soon as I could. So, yeah.
So what you missed so far is it's been a pretty open end. Unfortunate shot by Darren. Darren was playing a freeze, threw it through, so that's brought us to here. Adam's just trying to play a clean end. He would love a force here in the fourth, I believe. Try to get that hammer back for the second half of the game with the lead. That's always a good situation, whether it be odd or even ends. Going to jam the double here, lose the shooter. That's the spot, probably straightest spot on the sheet, and we've seen both teams get fooled a little bit on that one.
Yeah, Adam and the boys there in the second end too threw a couple hits down there and just was really struggling to get to the inside, and you just saw it there with Saskatchewan too. Pretty straight spot.
It was free with it, guys. I was free with it. I was pretty free. Looks okay, guys. Looks okay. Looks okay. Looks fine, guys.
Adam almost tried the Caitlin Laws there too, come out and help sweep it, but he thought better of it.
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that. Adams, he's good at a lot of things. I don't know that sweeping's on that list. Could be, but I mean, this is the pot calling the kettle black here. Me and saying that, I understand that. But again, I think Crusher's probably just better off navigating things from the house. Play to your strengths. Out-turn hit now. Love to roll this one over towards the center line. Just a bit of an overcorrect, and they're going to roll out the back door the other way. So Ontario continues to lie two. No real pressure being applied with the hammer this end by Team Saskatchewan so far. Just up to third stones here. Greg Robinson, the right-handed twin, has a chance to split the rings.
He can fix. Yeah. Go ahead.
Greg on his bio says he's watching a lot of on reruns of Facts of Life. It's not a show I ever got into. Not sure what he's hoping. Maybe he's got a crush on Kim Fields.
Whoa, we don't need though. We don't need. Nice shot.
Well placed by the boys there. See if Michael can find the right path here. Needs to hit and stay. Opportunity to roll over to the butt and set up a double on his next. Love the control weight he's throwing here.
Yeah, Saskatchewan trying to hit their way out of this mini dilemma, I suppose. If Adam hits and rolls about a rock there, like he's indicating, there will be a double available to Saskatchewan on the top, and then Ontario will be down to 2 rocks. So really here, Saskatchewan's sort of playing this to try and manufacture a blank out of this end. It's looking like they're forced right now, so try and get a blank. No deuce ever available here for Saskatchewan, really. So.
Yeah, if Greg rolls the wrong spot, there could be a potential triple setup. He's not going to roll far enough, though. It's just a double available.
Yeah, real good throw.
That's a big thing, where the game's changed over the last 20 years, or pick your number. You know, there's 3 rocks in play, 3 rocks to come. Typically back in the day, it's a guaranteed force, where this end's probably still 65-70% chance it's going to be blanked with how much harder the guys throw the rock nowadays.
Yeah, that would probably be the biggest change in the game, if you'd say the same thing, just how well guys play the upweight shot. Some of the runbacks, these guys, like you watch EJ Harnden, it's almost automatic, and when he's throwing a double, it's they're close a lot.
Yeah, I worked, when I was their 5th player, I worked a lot with EJ on that, because the problem he has, he's a pretty vain individual. Like, he's jacked, right? Like, he lifts a lot of weights, but he skips leg days. So he's basically walking around with a pair of OB posts for legs. So we really had to work on his leg drive. And you know what? He takes coaching well, and he's learned a lot from me over the years. And he's turned himself into a pretty good player. It's weird he doesn't give me more credit publicly.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But
no, EJ, do a squat. See what it feels like, you know? Maybe some calf raises. Hit and roll out there by Saskatchewan, so now it's looking more like a force situation here for Ontario. Be able to wrestle the hammer back from Team Saskatchewan with the lead. They've thrown this draw a few times. Just wants to lay it down on the tee line out in the 8-foot.
I don't think I'm heavy.
No, I agree, Spence.
that's one of Adam's trademark lines there. I don't think I'm heavy. That normally means
Sweep
don't
it.
look up
Yeah.
and just start sweeping.
All 3 boys dragging it in there.
Well, I think we maybe gotta start believing it.
It's not as deep as he wanted, but I don't know that that hurts him at all, really, Dave.
But we just thought, well, let's not throw heavier.
I mean, I think Saski's probably going to play, if they're going to play the freeze anyway, that shot didn't really affect it, I don't think.
No, looking like Saskatchewan and Dean are probably going to be forced here. So,
Do you like the? It's a hard rock to freeze to. It's in front of the tee, but in theory, the next shot you're going to be throwing against 3. I guess it comes down to whether he's going to hit or draw on his next one. If he's going to draw, he might as well draw on this one, right?
yeah, personal preference. With 3 rocks in the house, you're probably more inclined to just hit this, and worst case on your next one, you're going to be able to draw the 8-foot or have an open hit. But if there was only 2 rocks in the house here for Ontario, that's when you might see Saskatchewan be more inclined to play a freeze. If you make the freeze well, Adam has to rip it out, and you might actually work yourself into a blank. But with 3 rocks in the house here, personal preference, he's probably going to have the same shot on his next one.
It's an open hit here for Dean Grenham, skip of Saskatchewan. They're trying to maybe make the roll behind the rock, full 12. Gonna roll too far. And now I like the possibility Adam can sort of Christmas tree this one, do a little half and half around the rock he just threw, and maybe not leave the option for a hit and force Dean into a draw. And I don't know that Dean's, I mean, he threw a couple hits last and he just hit here. I'm not sure he's throwing a draw in a while. So
Yeah, great point, Pete, and that's kind of what you were alluding to in your last one, so great call there. But with that rollout, Adam can go around here, and then it changes Dean's shot. So would look like it could have been sort of an open hit had he made that nose. Adam's got a chance to put a little more pressure on him here, and Dean might end up having to draw a good piece of the forefoot if this is made properly.
yeah, this is the whole goal of this shot, is to force Saskatchewan to draw. Our previous game, BC played this shot 3 or 4 times, and most of the time they just barely got it edge on edge, but then finally they threw a perfect one, and it will go in here if they can carve it, if they have the right weight. This looks close if they can drag it for weight. I'm not sure if it's heavy enough.
I actually heard Jeff and Steve after the last shot, potentially talking about the ice coming down a little bit in speed. I was trying to hear if they were talking about the ice coming down or if it might have been a rock that they were questioning. But that one,
yeah, I heard
like
them say you have to. I think we have to believe it.
Yeah, so looks like it might just be slowing down a little bit coming through that middle slide path area. Dean's going to be out wide enough here. I'm not sure if this will be impacted by that, but something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he's more in a path here, so we decide hammer in these games by draw to the button. It's not just one thrower, it's 2. But this is basically the path they would be taking in practice. I mean, obviously we're in the 4th end now, so some things have changed, but an experienced team like Saskatchewan's going to pick up on that, be able to communicate that information to Dean, and I expect him to make this. Although I don't think he's light. Unless he is.
Full 12, full 8, full
No, it
8.
looks really good out of his hand.
Sweepers like it. They said not light early, but
Shot, Dean.
looks like it should be okay here. Stop back 4, back 8.
So put a single on the board for Team Saskatchewan. They trail Ontario 2-1 in this battle for first place. We'll be back for the second half of this game after this commercial break.
This ice is everything. It's where I come to feel close to her, to feel whole. This building helped raise me when my mother no longer could. When I step on the ice, she steps with me. My dad is my rock. We're a team now, like the 4 of us when we step on the ice. People say that this isn't a contact sport, but that's not true. It contacts you where you need it the most.
Before there was ice, there was our hallway at home. I was always the shy, quiet kid who loved math. But when I saw math come alive in the geometry of the game, I found my passion and my voice. It's a game of precision, a game of inches. It's the equation that now defines who I am.
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their miracle baby. As with all survivors, I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now, and at only 12, I am already a 5-year veteran of this sport. I have my sights set on the Olympics. I will push hard to get there. The only size that matters in this sport is the size of your dreams.
Sweep! Sweep! Hurry! Hurry! Hard! Hurry hard! Hard! Hurry hard! 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 Yeah! Woo! We should really be curling.
We are back in this battle for first place in men's pool A. Undefeated Team Ontario leading the 4-1 Team Saskatchewan 2-1 at the break. My name is Peter Stesky. I'm here with Dave Mathers. Dave, that was a very well played first 4 ends. One unlucky break for Saskatchewan, but they rallied. Got the blank end in the third after an unfortunate pick, but what do you think about the first 4 ends?
Yeah, it was. That's what it really came down to. It sort of looked like Saskatchewan had at least a do set up there in the third end, an unlucky break on Dean's first one with the pick right out of his hand, and that's sort of the difference so far. Ontario's played a good 4 ends.
Play for that bit of a stick.
Steve Anderson playing the intern come around here.
Actually, line's pretty good.
Steve representing Ontario for the first time in his curling career.
I think you gotta go, guys.
Yeah, we do.
You gotta go.
We do. Seeing, but.
Okay, nice shot.
All right, Stu.
Nice come around there. That actually over curled, came out the other side. Saying Steve's first time, where the rest of the guys from Ontario played in the 1992 juniors. Hopefully they're not mad because I'm dating them a little bit there. And then Adam Spencer, the skip, played second for Team Howard in the 2016 Brier when Wayne Madaw broke his leg in an unfortunate skiing incident. Glenn's got a decent second playing for him now, though, I would say.
I hope to think so some days anyways. Other days maybe not so much, but no, Glenn's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. You know him. He's just a humble, true, down-to-earth guy. So it's been a lot of fun playing with him. I've played with Scott for a long time, and they've been really good friends for a long time, and always watched Glenn on TV. And then when I
Well, Glenn played long before television was even invented, right?
Yes.
You know that.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing I find most amazing about Glenn Howard is he is 59 years old. He won a Brier in 1987, and he is still as fired up and competitive today as he would have been 35 years ago.
Yeah, it's inspiring, really, the fact that he still hates missing, he hates losing more than anybody, and to your point, to be doing it that long and still have that fire to try and win and try and get better and stay on top of his game is pretty motivating to be able to see that. So,
in the season you've had this year, you'd probably be the year-to-date the top Ontario team, or would be 10, or be pretty close.
Yeah,
between
no,
two
I think we're the top Ontario team year-to-date based on points, and we had a really good start to the year. The
It's a
blemish,
great
obviously.
shot. Sorry,
Great shot there
interrupt,
from
yeah.
Saskatchewan. But the only blemish on our season is the pre-trials final. Losing that pre-trials final for the second quadrennial in a row is a kick in the new you know where. But all good. That's curling. So.
I'll tell you what I liked about that shot as much as the execution. It was acknowledged by Team Ontario. All the guys down here gave him a great shot. He looked at them and I'll tell you what, these are two highly competitive teams. They're going to be in the mix come playoff time, but they also really have respect for the game and the way it's meant to be played.
Yeah, great hit and roll there from Saskatchewan. You saw Ontario acknowledge it, and even when Dean had that unfortunate break in the third end, you saw the Ontario guys, out loud saying they didn't want that to happen, and nobody does. So,
and at the same time, Dean is like, dude, it's part of the game, and he laughed it off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe give out a sportsmanship award this game, possibly. Something,
that could be something that we could start.
I came runner-up quite a few times in that. Actually, usually Wayne Middaugh was runner-up. I'd come third. Wayne was a 14-time runner-up for Best Sport at the Ontario Provincials. Just couldn't get over that hump. Needed 1 or 2 more votes every year. Great situation right now for Saskatchewan. They don't have the hammer, but they've got a nice situation. They're rock frozen on Ontario stone, and then they're full 4-foot basically due to that hit and roll. Going to try to put a center guard up here.
The Team Hasselberg team sweep.
Yeah, you know what? Europeans used to do the all 4 every once in a while. My sister-in-law is going to hate me for mentioning this, but she was playing in the World Junior Final with Kathy Overton, 1989. Kathy had to draw a full 8-foot to win the World Championship. Right around where the Everest logo is here, all 4 of them are just pounding it, and it slid about 6 inches too far. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
No, just bad break.
Real hard. Hey! Real hard.
So he leaves his yellow. It's a biter. Saskatchewan lies 2. They could throw the center if they do, though. Pretty makeable double for Ontario. So it'll be interesting to see what they call here. I'm not even sure what I'd call yet.
Tap and roll. Like this? What about a bump and roll?
This would be an end, Dave, where you use the scoreboard at all. So Michael's going to go down and talk this one over. You'd really love a force here if you're Saskatchewan, because these teams can play at a level where they can manipulate the scoreboard a little bit for sure.
Yeah, force would be ideal here for Saskatchewan, or a steal, of course. But after that, after the hog guard and that good shot there by Ontario, getting rid of the stagger up front, not really looking like a steal opportunity any longer. Eventually here, Saskatchewan doesn't want to see a blank either. At one of these ends, somebody has to score. Not make or break time yet for Saskatchewan, so you might see them try and hit this yellow. Looks like they're calling the tap. Not a bad call there either. It's at 3.
Yeah, I think they're trying to tap it beyond their shot rock, and more importantly, I think, is where they want their shooter to end up. They want it to roll just underneath, sort of stagger the yellow. Interesting call, very creative. I just don't know. There's not much else for them to do, I don't think. Hitting it, the odds of you hitting and staying, out jamming, I don't know. I like this call.
Yep. What do you got? Corner. Whoa. Just corner it. No. Okay.
Sorry, Dave.
That probably works too. It doesn't end up in a horrible spot.
Not too bad. Looks like Ontario might be able to make this top double.
Just got to skinny their own yellow.
Tight and light.
Is that how you're playing? You're playing it just to miss your yellow, red onto red. Telestrator, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I think so. The main objective here is to get rid of these top 2 red rocks that are sort of in the top 12 control zone, as it's called. But
a little shout out to Linda Moore for that. She's talk a lot about it, and it's true. If you can control that area, you're going to win most ends. Just skinnied off his own, allowed to do the Ronnie Ricochet, and unable to kill 2 reds. And now this is actually an excellent situation for Saskatchewan.
not a great outcome there for Greg. You'll probably see Saskatchewan throw up a guard here. If I had to guess, it's.
Yeah, I'd go with the guard here for sure. That was actually a closer throw than what the shot ended up being. Just barely wicked his own, but that caused the redirect, allows Sasky to lie 2 here, and now they're going to throw probably a halfway guard somewhere around the Everest logo. Be a hair tighter.
Three's good.
Whoa, easy guys, easy, easy.
6 close. Whoa, Jack. Where are you?
Your fiance plays for Team Harrison. Are they directly into the provincials?
They are directly into the provincials. By being the top Ontario team at the Olympic trials, they were able to secure the direct berth into the provincials. So their December opened up, which is good for them. They were pretty pleased about that and pretty pleased about their week overall. So good news on that front.
Yeah, they were a well-coached team at the trials, from what I understand. That was big to win the pre-trials, get in, and then they finished ahead of Rachel. Rachel's now forced to go play in a playdown. We had Emma Miskew on last night. She did a great job, so shout out to Emma. I'm sure you're listening. But tough route for home, and they're not used to going that route. It's been a while since they've had to play in the playdowns like that. A lot of rocks got touched, but none of the reds were removed. So the Team Saskatchewan continues to lie 2, although they chipped it, Dave, to a spot where it's usable now. Like, there's a double there. If Saskatchewan was not to throw right now, there'd be a pretty easy double for Ontario.
There is a double available, so Saskatchewan's got to be mindful of that. Dean's tapping sort of top 12 tight, just sort of on the inner half of that red side forefoot. As long as you cover the inner half, that'll do the trick in blocking off the double. And the other red rock just biting the top of the button there is mostly covered by that center line guard. So all of a sudden, in the span of a couple shots here, Pete, things have turned around in a pretty favorable looking situation for Saskatchewan. And really the first pressure Adam will have faced this game if this guard is made properly.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if pressure phases the crusher. He sort of walks around in his own little world, but this is an excellent opportunity for Saskatchewan. Probably the best chance they've had since that third end.
Yeah, not much phases Adam, as you know. He's a pretty methodical, slow-moving guy. He doesn't. When pressure happens, generally that speeds things up, and Adam doesn't get sped up by much. Normally, in the car waiting for him after games for quite a while, or trying to drag him out of a pub when he's trying to finish his last pint, something like that. But
sort of reminds me of the dude in Big Lebowski. Would be a good description of Adam, I would say.
I don't think I've seen that.
1, see it. 2, once you do see it, you'll be drinking White Russians, or as the gentleman in the movie, Jeff Bridges, calls them Caucasians. And Adam, that's one of his favorite movies. I know that for real.
Okay.
So you're going to want to take that one in, and you will laugh, because he is definitely the dude.
You say White Russians, that's my Skip's favorite drink, is a White Russian. I've never quite understood it. But
was my favorite curler for quite a while.
Not a bad spot there from Saskatchewan. Blocked the double that you were referencing there, Pete, the double on the Rock's top 4. And still a pretty usable stone there for Saskatchewan, the one he just threw. Adam might elect to play the double on the top one, sort of as he's indicating now, but not a bad outcome there for Saskatchewan.
No, I like where they put it. They could have been, if they wanted to, like he put that exactly where he wanted to. They could have been higher if they wanted, and just straight guard. There is a double available, but if Adam ever nutted the double here, jammed it, then Saskatoon, they are from Saskatoon. They'd have a great chance for not only a steal of 1, maybe a steal of 2. So huge double takeout attempt here. I don't think Adam cares a whole bunch about where his shooter goes. He's not taking a lot of ice, so he's going to be whipping this one down here, Mach 3. Or as hard as a man of his age can throw it.
Yeah, Adam can throw it pretty good. I'd expect this one to be humming pretty good down there. And
it's going to be in the ballpark, too.
Yeah, and like I said, it's sort of that blank attempt that he had in the first end. This is his favorite spot on the sheet, in turn just off the line. So I'd expect this one to be pretty close.
Literally my least favorite shot. Just over the top. So if you're Saskatchewan now, do you put it back in the same spot? Where would you go with this one, Dave?
If you put it back in the same spot, it's pretty tough for Adam to score. It looks like they're indicating like they want to come in a little bit tighter. You got to be a little bit careful, but same spot might do the trick and be pretty close to an auto steal. On the left side of your screen there, the out turn, it doesn't look like he can get low enough on that redstone to be able to score. So same spot might do it and lock up a steal or force Adam to play a really tough shot to score.
Yeah, if Adam was to come around with the out turn, even if he made this shot here perfect, this rock is going to outcount where Adam would be, and like you say, it would be a steal. Just got to make sure that they don't over curl on this one and allow Adam that double, because if he makes that, he will score. So that you have to make sure you guard the inside of the rock that is on the thrower's left.
Right, really anywhere from top 8 to even a tight guard here will sort of accomplish the job for Saskatchewan. It's more a line shot than anything blocking that double, but always nice to make the other team look at 3 too on their last. So
yeah,
same
great
spot
call.
would be pretty good.
It is. It's a line. Good call there, Dave. It is a line shot for sure. Dean's had his weight all game long. Faced 3 counters in the last end, able to drop it right on the button. Just threw this shot, so I expect this to be very close.
Where is it? Line's real nice.
I'm good.
Yep. Yep. First she goes. Come on. Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Finish it. Whoa. Whoa.
You know what? That was really well scrubbed. They did exactly what you wanted, which is the line. And I believe they nailed the line perfect. And they got it far enough that it is a biter as well, out-counting the other yellow. Adam might have to take on that out-turn tap that I, very eloquently illustrated, but it would be to give up 1.
Yeah, mission accomplished there for Dean and Saskatchewan. Great 2 shots, great rock placement. Even This one's even about a rock and a half higher than it was on the last one, so even more separation between the red rocks. And
now, is there a triple here? You can see more of this stone.
It looks like there is possibly a triple. You'd have to absolutely feather the 2 rocks in the 4-foot.
So you're coming back straight through onto this red. The one you drive back, gonna go on here, might go out that way. This guy goes out the back door. That's a horrible tell, but the guy's in the way, right? I mean, I'm trying to draw, and he's holding the broom.
Yeah, not your fault. I wouldn't worry too much about that
Greg,
draw there. Yeah, come on,
get out of the way, man. No, that's his first time probably in TV in a while, so he doesn't know that he'd be telestrating. I think they are going to take on the triple. I think both teams would be happy even with the double. I mean, although Sasky, there's a real chance for them to steal 2, take the lead here. Final stone, 5th end, Adam Spencer, skip of Ontario. In-turn hit. This one has to curl. Might be a dead jam. Yes, it is. So that is a steal of 2. A very well played end by Saskatchewan. This battle for first place is taking a turn. They now lead Ontario 3-2. Ontario with the hammer back for the 6th end. It's been a while since we've updated the scores here again. This is men's round robin action, all men's games out here. We got Newfoundland and Labrador to a 5-1 lead over New Brunswick.
A lot of people in the way out there.
Yeah, they need, again, like, guys, we're trying to do a job. I get that you're curling and they think it's important, but really this is more important. 5-3 Quebec over Alberta. Tied at 2 in the Manitoba Northern Ontario game. I've hung out with these kids from Northern Ontario, literally 18 years old, 19, 19, and 20. They haven't had their best week in terms of wins and losses. One thing I will say is they've had their best week ever in terms of curling, fun, and entertainment. They got to meet Randy the other night. They're talking to Mark from Everest. They're just so jacked about everything Everest does. They're going to go back to their club, tell all their friends, all their juniors that they play against. So that's what this event is all about. So hats off to Northern Ontario, because Manitoba is undefeated. So they're pushing them. We got a 3-2 game PEI over the Yukon. And then BC, Nova Scotia tied at 4. BC with the hammer playing 6. Big turn of events there, Dave. What do you do now if you're Team Ontario? You do have the hammer. You're 1 down. In theory, you have 2 hammers to Saskatchewan's 1.
Yeah, 2 hammers to 1. Tides turned there pretty quick. Ontario went from up 1 and sort of control of the game with the hammer to now being down 1 playing 6. You saw Steve throw up the corner guard there. I'd expect Adam to be fairly aggressive this end, trying to get 2. But tables turned there on the last couple shots of the 5th end, sort of turning the momentum of the game around.
Yeah, Adam had 2 chances at the in-turn double, unable to execute. First one just went over the top. Second one was a dead jam. Hats off to Saskatchewan for the end they played, and this one looked okay. I don't know if it all of a sudden just grabbed. Not a lot of handle there.
Kind of looked like a grab there, yeah. No handle coming into the house.
Sort of looks
Dean's
like a Ryan
indicating
Fry in turn there.
Just don't know if you had any rotation on it.
Dave can't comment on that because he's going to have to play Ryan at the upcoming provincials.
I'm going to have to play Ryan, and then I can't. My intern, I can't say too much on some days either. So I'll avoid further comment on that.
Yeah, not unlike the Yogi situation. We're going to defer to your press secretary.
That's right. You mentioned, Pete, Team Northern Ontario going back to their home club and telling their friends. I don't know if I've mentioned this on a couple broadcasts that I've been on, but the Hunt Club here has an incredible Learn to Curl program.
Yeah.
Very active, huge membership. They do an awesome job. Bill Duck, Doug Kreviazik sort of headed up with a couple other people, Ryan Wilkes. But just an incredible Learn to Curl program, getting people involved with the game regardless of what age they are. Kim Wilson, too, is involved in that program. But I don't know how active Learn to Curl programs are at a lot of clubs across the country. I know some have them and they do very well, but
Just not enough is the answer, really.
not enough. And you see the people that are drawn to that program here at the Hunt, gets them involved with the sport. It's fantastic to see. So credit and hats off to Bill and Doug and the rest of the team at the Hunt Club for that.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great shout out. And I'll say, so I live in Toronto. And the one thing is this is a golf and country club, and almost all of them in Toronto are trying to shut down the curling. And based on the amount of people and the support we have had the entire week here, that is not the case here at the Ottawa Hunt. It's been an outstanding job by the host committee, the membership, the volunteers. So good shout out there, and that's good to know, because that's the lifeblood of the sport. You play the sport at the very highest level, and that's wicked. But without what we have going out on the ice here and those new programs, that's what keeps the lights on at all the curling clubs, like Randy mentioned in our opening the other night. So that's great to hear, great to see. This is an interesting little collection of stones we have going out front here. Ontario lies one. Saskatchewan's got a nice frozen one right in front of it, and then we got a bunch of staggered guards.
Saskatchewan kind of redirected that freeze off the guard and just actually straightened out a bit. It looked like it was going to over-curl, but still did over-curl by a couple inches. Leaves Ontario shot lost behind that mess of guards up there, like you said. But chance for Saskatchewan to get one buried here.
And I like this call. Originally, they were looking like they're going to go up and peel. But I actually, I don't mind the draw. The peel's okay. I think you got to peel the wide one and open up your own red, because that red's in a pretty decent spot. But I like the aggression of the draw here.
Yep.
Looking pretty good here.
Really nicely managed stone there by Team Saskatchewan. This is a shot here, Dave. Do you think, Adam, instead of just flat out whipping down the double peel, if they hit it in the proper spot, is there any opportunity to maybe get this yellow one spinning towards the ring?
You probably could. Looks like they're throwing too much weight for that, but you could throw sort of a down normal solid board weight shot, and the way that yellow red is set up, the yellow is inclined to spin sort of towards the ring. So
yeah, less weight, that's the path it would have taken.
Yeah, hit it in the same spot with just less weight.
We'll talk to Adam about that one when we address the team post game.
We'll make a note of that one for sure. Yep. Speaking of golf, you had a shout out from Adam Kingsbury at the break there when you left. He was challenging you to a two-man net match at the
so he's going to bring
home club here.
He's going to bring two men, and I got to play them.
No, it's Adam and I versus you and a partner. So you got to find a partner.
Well, I got a partner. I went to high school with Mike Weir. How's that?
Well, that'll do. That'll do. Not
right?
a great, not great for your team's cap, but.
Oh, it's a net match?
It's a net match.
I'm bringing Brent Lang.
Yeah.
I'm bringing Brent Lang.
I've heard stories about Langer and his cap there.
You know what? He puts all the scores in and he puts them all out. That's all I'm going to say. But you want no part of Langer and I in a net match. You are a great guy. We taught you're a scratch. You're a humble individual, but that is amazing golf. Good control of the end here right now for Saskatchewan. That short little angle, but an opportunity maybe for Adam. Make the double, bring some play over back behind these two corners. Making the play on the center here should prevent sort of a steal situation as long as this is close. Kingsbury, eh? What a guy.
Yeah, Adam Kingsbury, good player in his own right.
Well, yeah, what's he play to?
He's pretty close to a scratch as well. He not the longest hitter in the world, but a short game like you wouldn't believe.
I'll tell you what we'll do then. You got all three of them moving, only to kill one. But actually, I think he chipped that red over that's behind the yellows far enough. That outturn draw is now available. It just might be late in the end to do so. We're going to have you guys over to Coppenwood. That's my home track. Langer hits it miles. I hit it far enough. I'd imagine you do. But to take advantage of Kingsbury having sort of Ben Hebert type length off the tee, We're going to play off 7,650 yards.
Is Benny not a long hitter?
Benny.
No?
Oh, man.
Looks like a guy that would be able to hit it pretty far.
You know why? Because he's jacked, but his backswing doesn't get past his hip.
The old slap shot.
Oh, it's actually, if you watch Ben's podcast, and big shout out for that because they do a great job, but his swing got analyzed by Max Homa, and Homa told the truth. He told the truth. It hurt Ben a bit, but Ben, he laughed it off. I'm not saying he doesn't hit at 230, but I mean, that's a decent 4-iron.
And Max Homa runs a good Twitter account for any golf fans out there looking for a laugh.
I've never really been on Twitter myself, so.
That first one looked like it backed off. Yeah.
I hear about it, though. I hear it's good.
I thought you were.
Used to follow BWD curling. That guy was funny.
Never saw it.
What do you think of this call here? I guess if he drew around with the out turn, he'd probably be third shot. It's fairly late in the end, but I don't know. I hate the freezes. I'm not a fan of freezes in front of the tee.
Tough to make this well, and tough to make it in a spot where Saskatchewan won't be able to get it out. To your point, it's third's last rock, so nothing to lose though for Ontario. Looks like Adam's going to have a fairly easy shot to score. So freeze, I probably would have been inclined to go around that corner guard myself, but if you could keep it for shot or second. But
I think if I was going to freeze, it's an easier freeze to the one in the back 8. They blast it out. Then you go around the corner. You get a half shot miss. You might have shot for 2, but it is late in the end. Again, this whole odd end, even end. If Adam can score here, his goal will be to force in 7 or steal. And then the 8th end's the 8th end. For the fans at home, how much math, and I know it depends on who you're playing, but just generalizing, are you better off being 1 up coming home without the hammer or 1 down coming home with?
So some teams dive really into analytics, and we're probably on the lesser extent of all the teams. We don't dive into it too much. For us, it's more of a personal preference. Glenn has always preferred to be 1 up.
He has, eh?
Yeah, it's kind of something our team's talked about a little bit, just given the way some games have played out, that 1 up without isn't the end of the world for us. We're generally a pretty good team at forcing and not giving up a lot of points. We play a bit more of a defensive style than I think a lot of games would. So we're comfortable being up 1 without, but it's always nice too to be down 1 with. Generally, if you play a pretty good end, you're going to have a shot. So I don't know what the analytics say right now. I think it's probably pretty close to 50-50, so it comes down to more personal preference.
Yeah, a lot of the teams, it's narrow, but there's a slight edge to what you would prefer, which is the 1 up. And it's funny because so many teams, they want that control of having the hammer, but it's, it's like ace-king in poker versus jacks. Everyone thinks it's 50-50. It's actually not. It's 60-40 for the pair. So given that situation, kids at home, if you're playing poker with your parents, always give them the ace-king. You take the pair. Pretty soon their allowance will go up. So a chance here for Adam. They just tried this freeze. This is tough. There's not a lot of space here, but he's going to try to draw around this corner guard that was just, and it's not a corner guard, it's just a tight little biter thrown up by Dean, but maybe get half of it buried there. Hope for a bit of a mistake. They might be able to put 2 up on the board. If not, he's going to have to draw the 4-foot for 1.
A little more room for error for Adam here than Greg just had on his. He doesn't need to make the freeze as well. Even if he gets it, to your point, half buried under that red rock, it's going to force Saskatchewan to play a bit of a run back. So I'd say that rock just thrown by Saskatchewan probably isn't helping them. Adam was probably pretty happy to see that red rock in the place that it is. It's probably going to make Saskatchewan's shot a little bit tougher if Adam makes this pretty good. I can't believe I'm calling him Adam. I've never called him Adam in my life.
Yeah,
it's just
I know,
Crusher.
but you know what? I appreciate the professionalism you brought to the booth today. I mean, the 12:30 draw, I'm stuck with Randy. I don't even know the guy's last name. He's the Everest ambassador from Alberta.
Curled once or twice in his day, probably.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't won the Brier 6 times? Seriously.
Little Stu. Little Stu. Little Stu.
What?
All right.
That's about as well as Adam could do. I think the run back is there for Dean if he likes that. That's what I would play. I wouldn't even hesitate. I'd whip down the out-turn run back. I'd hit about a third of rock, miss the back one, but I'd be confident in throwing it.
That makes sense.
This is probably just, you could anywhere 3/4-ish.
Nose probably even gets it.
Nose does it for sure. Again, we haven't seen Dean miss a whole bunch in this game. That was a great draw by Adam, but this is, my opinion, this is the biggest shot of the game so far because it's the control point. We expect Adam, if this is made, to make his draw for 1, but if this is missed, it's an opportunity for 2 to get that control back heading to 7. So huge shot here for Dean Grenham.
You've mentioned it a couple times too. The spot has fooled both teams. Not sure if we're quite wide enough, but not a lot of curl in this spot.
Yeah, you don't love whoa. It does not curl very much here. Wow. It's probably a made shot judged on the sweeping call. And a very unfortunate incident. He burned the rock. And one, he's a gentleman because I could barely even tell. But absolutely the classy and right thing to do. But just another very unfortunate incident here for Saskatchewan. So it's an opportunity for Ontario to draw for 2. You played a lot of front end over in your men's. What's your worst burn rock story?
That's a good question. We've had a few over the years. The one thing you never like is being the other team. When the other team burns a rock, it puts you in a bit of a bad spot. And our team's actually talked about it a little bit, sort of maybe making that rule a little more black and white. It just puts the non-offending team in an uncomfortable position. That's what I don't like about the whole burn rock rule. But like you said, credit to Team Saskatchewan there. They just, as soon as they burned it, they kicked it off. And
well, that's what Darren didn't. There's no. He just grabbed it, gone off, no questions. It happens to everyone at every level in the sport. There's burn rocks, so need this one to slow down, or it might not cost them. Looks good now.
Still got a little mustard behind it there. Good shot by Crusher.
So after an unfortunate burnt rock situation, you can put 2 on the board for Ontario. They lead Saskatchewan by 1, heading to the 7th in this battle for first place in Pool A. It's been a wicked game from a shot-making perspective, and even more so probably from a sportsmanship perspective. I'd like to know what it would take for one of the Robinson brothers to snap. Like, that's what we need to do.
I think it would take a lot.
I think we should find out. You know, maybe get them in the hospitality room Saturday night and just start pressing buttons and see what happens. You know? What's the downside?
I think it would take a lot to get Adam going too, but I'd hate to see it.
You don't want to see it.
Oh, man.
No, you don't want the Crusher mad at you.
No. The only time I've seen Crusher mad is when he's got about a quarter of a beer left and they haven't come to ask him if he wants another one. That's when he gets really upset.
He misses last call. Someone eats the last slice of pizza. So 4-3 right now. Ontario leading Saskatchewan. We're playing the 7th end. Both teams are comfortably in the playoffs, but this is a battle for bragging rights in Pool A. Other men's games out there tonight. PI leading the Yukon 4-2. Quebec up 6-3 on Alberta with the hammer, so that game is in hand right now for Quebec. Newfoundland Labrador up on New Brunswick 6-1. BC just scored 2. They lead Nova Scotia heading to 7-6, heading to the 7th end 6-4. In our final game, the Young Guns from Northern Ontario playing Manitoba. What do we got for a score there? Tied at
It's 3-3 Manitoba with the Hammer playing 7. But like you said earlier, the Northern Ontario boys giving top-seeded Manitoba in that pool a really good run this afternoon.
It's great to see. Great to see. I'll tell you, I've talked to those Manitoba guys all week, too. Like, everyone here, maybe aside from Randy, has just been outstanding for the entire week. All the players are just jacked. Everest has done an amazing job.
I got there, Greg. I got there.
We repeat it over and over, but the Ottawa Hunt has been incredible. It's great to be able to provide this streaming to the, I don't know, there's probably a couple million people tuning in, I would think.
Minimum.
I mean, this is an afternoon game. I understand some people are getting home from work, but tonight's draw will probably break 2 million, I would say, in viewers.
Who do you have on the schedule tonight? Who's
It's a big battle. It's Alberta, definitely the class of their pool in the ladies, taking on Manitoba.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah, Manitoba needs to win. I believe they're 3-2. So a win and they're in, a loss and it might be like a tiebreaker situation, rely on closest to the button, that type of thing. So Alberta's comfortably in. They're 5-0. They're coming off a 15-1 win. Covered the point spread on that one.
Yep. Maybe. Yep. Go hard, Dino. Go hard, Dino.
I don't think I've ever met anyone named Dean whose nickname was not Dino.
Yeah, it's generally Dino. I was just thinking the same thing, yeah.
Smitty, Jonesy. What's your nickname?
My nickname is Splash. Long story behind that one. Don't know if it's suitable for...
Well, yeah, is it interesting?
It's an interesting one, yeah. It involves a really late night in Victoria a number of years ago, so...
Okay. I'll ask you about that when we're off the air by the sounds
We'll
of
have
it.
a drink after. I'll tell you about that one, yep. Johnny Epping, that's one of his favorites, I think.
Now those guys, they're in a situation, they're going to play in Banff, try to get some points. Are they still eligible for a bye into the provincials or
John
no?
Epping's team?
Yes.
Yes, they have a bye.
They got in?
They got a bye based on, I think it was the next, based on who finished better between them and Team Tanner Horgan at the trials, I think is my understanding. So Team Epping's in, and I believe Team Pat Ferris got the third bye to provincials based on their finishes in the Ontario Trillium Series events.
Yeah.
So it's actually Team Tanner Horgan that's going to have to play down, is my understanding of how it sits right now.
So Epping, actually, it's my bad. He's going out to play in Banff, try to get points to qualify for the Players' Championship. Because they're nowhere near that right now, but I say that comfortably, having not looked at the standings. But
this rock too, I don't know if you just saw that, but this rock from about the hog line in completely lost its handle again, and I'm wondering if it's the same stone that he threw last end that didn't have any handle coming sort of sideways towards us.
Yeah, it did the same thing. 100% it did the same thing. Situation here, Ontario up 1. I think they can kill 2 yellows, and they might leave their shooter right there. I think they'd be pretty happy with that. Official Bill walking past us here. He's upset. He needs a better agent. He doesn't get to do the things that we get to do. So a good end building early here for Saskatchewan. Jack's got a chance here to maybe play a little bit of a split.
Double center guards up there from Saskatchewan too, so.
Darren's not buying it. He's going down. They're going to have a brief little chat here. I think there's tons of time for both teams on the clock.
You want to use timeout?
They do have timeout. Oh, we're going with the timeout.
Both teams have 2 timeouts left. I think Saskatchewan just called one here, but Saskatchewan's got about 6 minutes, 44 seconds left on the clock. Ontario just a little bit more than that at 6:59, just shy of 7 minutes. So both teams still fine for time at this stage.
This timeout is brought to you by Everest, the proud sponsor of the Canadian Curling Club Championships and the men's and ladies seniors. I'd like to thank Everest for all that they do for the sport of curling. This is their first year sponsoring this event, and the players have found it to be night and day. Hospitality off the charts. I'd like to thank Mark and his team at Everest. Tomorrow, Jennifer Jones, Everest ambassador, is wheeling into town, coming off of her Olympic trials victory. Everyone's very excited to see Jen.
That'll be awesome. Great for her to come here as well, too. And speaking of Team Jones, Ted Weigel working the time clocks here for this game today, father of Olympic trials winner Lisa Weigel. So shout out, Ted Weigel.
Ted, you're allowed to wave. We'll get you on camera later, bro.
I think I like tapping a little deeper than the top of the flag there.
Like back 4-8?
Yeah, Lisa, as everyone knows, she had her split from Team Holman. Very few teams for Lisa end up on at the level she's at what she's used to, because Rachel's one of the best teams to ever do it. So for her to end up on Team Jones, and a lot of fifth players, like I've been a fifth player a couple times, very inactive fifth player, as most are. But in Lisa's situation, she played a ton of bonspiels with them. She actually played a game in the trials, so it was great to see Lisa get back, because they didn't have their best week at the Olympics when they were there with Rachel, so maybe a chance at redemption for Lisa as well.
Nice shot, Jack. Good.
What do we have here? I think there's a little, you can make some reds move here if you hit it properly. Can definitely kill two.
Didn't quite get it in enough.
You might even be able to get all three of them out of here if you hit it properly with enough speed. This is Greg Robinson, third stone for Ontario.
Good throw, Jack. Yep. Whoa.
Might have jammed it. Nope, got rid of two. Still an interesting situation here. I mean, center guard's good for Ontario, but lying one and throwing, very good for Saskatchewan. They obviously would hate to be forced here, so they'll press pretty hard to put a deuce up on the board.
Yeah, force would be the least optimal outcome for sure for Team Saskatchewan. They're going hard for their two here, and with the two center guards up and sitting one, good chance to still stay on the aggressive and put some more pressure on Team Ontario.
I know. Well, mine too. We were on mine. Did you think I was tied up then, waiting or something? But we swept. Go.
Trying to just chip off this roller shooter away, unable to do so. But you know what? Like, I don't know. Is that double? Is it that easy, Dave? Probably.
No, with the center guard up there, I don't think the double will be available. The best Adam could probably do is hit and roll off that wide rock. It looks like he signaled to try and even make the more difficult call and get all the way to the rock, biting the top of the forefoot.
It's funny, every time people see two rocks close together, they just assume the double's there. And I mean, it might be here if he papers the guard, but I'm not sure they're even playing it, to your point. I think they're just playing the roll in front of the other.
Yep, hard Stu. Yep, hard Stu. Hard, you got it, Stu.
Oh. I'd be fairly happy with that result.
Great shot, though. Nice shot.
That's
Great shot.
Excellent shot. He did not kill the other red, but played the shot you called where it was hard. Like they're trying to miss the open one, get the buried one. They just ticked off, but in doing so, they're lost now between these behind these yellows, and the force is alive and well now.
Side you want?
This is late. This is, I believe, the second stone from Michael here. So they need to, I don't know, it's tough. Needs double peel at a minimum.
Oh.
Gonna hit it hair high though. So what do you do here? You hit the back one. You could draw.
Yeah, pretty good situation for Adam. He's got to be pretty happy at this stage. That one top 8 is lost. It's also greatly shrunk the scoring area for Saskatchewan, so going to be a tough deuce. I think Saskatchewan would be pretty happy to.
They mentioned the guard. I hate the guard because the guard, if you don't, you could stagger the guard and it would allow them to draw around everything.
He's going around for sure, yeah.
They're going to call their first timeout, brought to you by Everest. Yeah, just for those at home, like if you throw the center guard here, you're almost daring Saskatchewan to draw around everything, and if they do, they could bring the 2 back and play. I think you could hit and stay, or if you want a little more control over the outcome, maybe just the in-turn draw around the corner, Dave. You could even play the out-turn draw out to the open wing if you want.
Yeah, 100%. But biggest thing for Adam here is to make sure you sit 2. So you could hit the one in the wing, but the biggest thing with that is to make sure you stay.
That's why I like to draw more.
Yeah.
I just the one shot I don't love here is the guard. The rock's already in a great spot and it is guarded, but it's very hard for them to draw around given the situation now. But if you put your guard, say, biting the center line at all, just gives that little bit of extra room for Saskatchewan to draw around everything. So. I mean, Adam could get super aggressive here and play the in-turn draw around everything.
Yeah, I didn't hear what they finally settled on. That's Broom for either the in-turn draw or the guard.
I'm hoping it's the draw.
If you could ever get your stone about halfway around that one top 8 with the in-turn, to your point, that would probably be the best shot.
I agree. Like right in, boom, right there. That's what we're talking about?
Yeah, for Saskatchewan to probably play the run back. That's ice, it looks like, for the guard, if I had to guess where that broom is.
Feels like ice for the guard, yeah. I mean, Hoff's in-turn, the way he does that reverse backspin, he could keep it straight in this spot for a bit, have it track. This could be ice for him for the draw, but this looks like ice for the guard.
The things Hoff can do with a rock is nothing short of incredible. He's the most.
I haven't heard that where I've heard extraordinarily.
It's interesting. He's the biggest thing in golf on Prince Edward Island right now, and he's the most electrifying man in curling. So.
Yeah, they went with the guard. Just mark this one down on our notes for post game with Adam
for our debrief.
Yeah. Because now I like the wide in-turn draw here if I'm Saskatchewan. I mean, wow.
Aggressive call.
Wow.
It would be a great shot if he makes it. It's an opportunity to maybe sit 2. I'm just trying to see if the angle lines up onto that redstone biting the side of the 12-foot.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Man alive, if he makes this, that would be a heck of a shot.
I don't mind this if it's for 2 and it's your last rock. I think I still like the in-turn draw because what's Adam do? If you make a perfect in-turn draw where we telestrate it and Adam can't chase you, he probably has to go with the out-turn, but you're always going to have a shot for 2.
Right, and if this is missed by Dean, Adam's going to have a chance to probably play that in-turn draw like we telestrated right to the side of the button, and
You've
Dean
got to
would have a tough shot to score.
Yeah.
But
you know what? Some of the stuff that's happened to them this game, this would be pretty cool if the curling gods let him make it.
Close, Pete.
And he did. Where'd the shooter go? What an attempt. That's actually gross. I'll tell you one thing. Luck has not been on the side of Saskatchewan in this game. That was an excellent throw.
No, the only, we'll see the good angle here. That was a fraction of an inch away from sitting 2. But
great camera work, guys.
Good news for Saskatchewan here. It makes Adam think. Saskatchewan does have now 2 in the rings, and Adam's got to be a little bit careful with where he puts it, not to leave a double or do something silly to give Saskatchewan a chance for a multiple score.
I think he has to draw. I mean, you could hit and stay out wide, but you've got no room if you roll out. So I think he's looking at the out turn. That should be ice for the out turn draw.
I think so. If he can get it buried, of course, there's going to be nothing available for a multiple score for Saskatchewan. But Adam does have to be a little bit careful here. And we've heard them talking a couple times about the ice coming down a little bit in speed. So anything short of the rings, which would be a fairly big miss, would of course leave Saskatchewan a chance for 3. So Adam's got to be a little careful.
Yeah, he's got to be full 12 foot to outcount the other 2. Great attempt there by Dean. The fact that his shooter stuck around puts a lot of extra pressure on this shot for Adam. His final stone in the 7th. He's up 1. Winner of this game wins Pool A. Both teams already in the playoffs. You can tell by the quality level of play in this game, they're going to be forces to be reckoned with come the playoffs tomorrow. I don't think they care about the line right now. They're just trying to hit it for weight and make sure they get it there.
15-7 hog to hog on that one, so definitely not heavy.
Wow. So a chance now. Easy shot for 2. Got to be fairly precise. Not a lot of room to roll in the back 12 here for 3. We've been talking about it. So you picked up on it, I would say 2-3 ends ago. The guy's talking about the weight slowing down a bit.
Yeah, just totally got caught by that.
Didn't seem like they were massively panicked out of his hand, but that comes up short. So a real chance now for Dean Grenham.
Huge break for Saskatchewan. Looks to be about a good half rock of air between that yellow rock that he's trying to hit back 12 and the red one biting the top of the 12 foot. So he does have room to play this intern, but
yeah,
like
the fact
I said,
he's playing the intern shows you there's some room here.
Got to be a little bit careful. And this spot on the sheet, like I mentioned last end, going both ways, has caught the teams a couple times, but opportunity here for Dean for a massive score.
Trailing 4-3, final shot here, 7th end. Opportunity for Saskatchewan to score 3 and take a 2-point lead coming home. Looks pretty good to me. It's a good throw. 3 on the board for Saskatchewan, so they take a 6-4 lead over Ontario. Ontario will have the hammer coming home. Big turn of events there, Davey.
Huge turn. Adam really just had to make sure he was in the house on that last one, and not sure if it got into the slide path. Like you said, the guys didn't seem too concerned early, but once it did get in closer to that center line, it really looked to come down, and a huge 3 for Saskatchewan. Well played game so far. The two top teams, like you just said there.
When we put our team together for next year so we can get that Vegas trip, I think we're going to have to practice pretty hard.
I think so too.
Probably hire Adam. Adam thinks he's a good golfer. We'll hire him as our mental coach, Adam Kingsbury. That would be, you know what, mental coach for me? He's got his work cut out for him there, bro.
Yeah, he'd have some work.
Let's see how good he is.
Do your best work here, Adam. Have at her.
That, if he could fix my chipping, because that's mostly mental for me, although the physical aspect of it looks like my wedge is having an abortion, which is not ideal. It's not great. Don't laugh, it hurts my feelings. We got a final, Newfoundland over New Brunswick, 9-1. Big win there for Mark Noseworthy. I think he's made his way potentially in the playoffs. Quebec leading Alberta 7-3. BC with a 7-4 lead over Nova Scotia. 8th end. BC up 3, but Nova Scotia has the hammer. They're just updating the score right now. 4-3 for Manitoba, so a chance here for Northern Ontario. They have the hammer coming home, down by 1. And our final game is PEI versus the Yukon. 4-4 tie, playing 7, PEI with the hammer. PEI, the main competition for the Yogis next year for this championship, I would say.
3, come on, 3. Farther out. You're way out. We're on the guard.
Team Yogi's top 200 team in Canada. Is that what you said before?
Top 200 club team.
Club team?
Club team. Men's club team. Like if we throw mixed in, probably 250, I would say. There's 50 good mixed teams out there for sure. I'd say the start of this end is Ontario's got to be happy. I don't think Saskatchewan would love where that center guard ended up. Full access to the Red Rock on the 4. The Red did take away the out-turn draw, though. So if you're going to use that corner, you might have to go wide, use the in-turn.
Yeah, but we couldn't have dragged it there again.
Well, we double guarded or what?
Yeah.
Boys are going to go for it here.
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, they can't peel. They could peel their own guard, but that's it. They can't peel either yellow.
They're up in a good spot.
With the 5 rock rule, generally if you're up 2 without the hammer, your best bet is to stay on the aggressive. Some teams try to get defensive when they're up 2 without the hammer with the 5 rock rule, and gives the team with the hammer an opportunity to get some rocks in some good places. So oftentimes you're better to just stay on the offensive and try and, I mean, Saskatchewan already did it. They've got one top 4 here that they're trying to double guard, and makes Ontario's life pretty hard on them.
Yeah, and you're up 2. If the other team's got to waste some rocks trying to make peels, double peels, open things up, you're happy. There's a split available here for Ontario that Mr. Spencer sees. It looks like that's what they're going to play. Accomplishes a couple things. You could, in theory, get 2 yellows on the rings here. More important, you're going to chip one in behind double guards, and you're going to open up access to the red. So this is, if this is made, a lot of good things happening for Ontario. Yeah, unable to make the split. That might have been ambitious on my part, but a great shot. Chips that in behind cover, opens up the red. It's still probably a quarter buried anyway.
I was going to say, he must have wanted that angle. I was thinking a sweeper angle, but sweet. It was there.
I don't mind the peel.
I think they could guard again. I like the peel here. You'd like the peel, Davey?
Don't hate it. What's going to end up happening here, even if this peel is made, I'm not sure if they can sort of jiggle through the middle there and maybe have their shooter coming back into the house. But Adam's going to have a chance to play a hit and roll off that Red Rock top 4 behind his corner guard that was just thrown there by Jeff. So not a bad situation, not a wrong call here either.
They got the wiggle you're talking about. That's a good wiggle.
Kick the tight red guard over, block their own too. That's a heck of a shot there by
that was a
Jack.
Shakira type wiggle.
Sorry, guys.
You like that, eh?
Yeah, I judge it for that.
Fans very appreciative of that.
Yeah, reference to Shakira. That was an excellent shot by Jack. Jeff Robinson now throwing the out-turn, come around freeze here for Ontario. Looking pretty speedy right now. Shigam. Unfortunate miss there by Jeff.
Might have hung on there to bite the back 12.
Yeah, if I'm Adam, I just got to gently kick that when no one's looking, right?
Yeah.
Just a little nudge.
Little deceiving with the camera angle. The camera is set up probably over the hack, just for your reference, so that Yellowstone is not as much in or out, but not as much in as it would appear from this camera angle.
No. Pretty simple shot here now for Michael. Just a matter of where his shooter and where the rock he's hitting are going to go.
Good.
A lot of rocks flying. What's left? A little double here for Ontario. Gonna go with the freeze first.
Yeah, this was 60. If that's 50, we're 60.
Adam on the aggressive here for sure.
Yeah, he needs to be 2 down.
Darren Cam, wonder if there's any relation there to Matt Cam. Just thought of that. Doubtful.
It doubt. Is Cam CAMM?
CAMM, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Matt reminds me a bit of Spencer. Not a whole lot bugs that guy either. Like, they're different personalities to some extent, but like neither one of them really you could find a heartbeat.
Yeah, okay.
It's in a decent spot. It's insignificant, it seems, but he's bumped that into a hole where there's potentially a double available if necessary. And Adam's going to have to get rid of a couple of these reds later in the end, and we're getting pretty late in the end right now. So
Yeah, I know.
this shot's not as easy as it would appear. It's probably a quarter, third buried, Dave.
Yeah, Mike, I think just from the hack indicated he could see about 2/3 of it. So that 2/3 angle is pretty much lined up to dead jam on the 1 and the 4 foot. So throwing quiet weight here to try and get as far to the nose as he can.
Close. One.
Go hard, girl. Go hard.
Clean, clean,
You got it, you got it.
Good scrub there by Darren, able to drag that one over. Really nice touch by Michael. He made that look a lot easier than what it was.
When you're saying that when I'm throwing. Yeah. Hey, good throw. Like that?
Good throw. What do you do?
Just here.
Okay. It's that same 60 then, right?
Ontario down to about 2.5 minutes with a timeout left. Saskatchewan with 1:25 and still a timeout. So neither team in time jeopardy at this point.
No, normally when I do commentary on KooTube, that's not the case. Playing the outturn through the hole here. Greg Robinson trying to set something up for Ontario. They're in desperate need of a 2. It's by the guard.
Stay on.
It's actually a really good shot. The way Dean's played, he's been making these for fun though, but that was a good shot. The guard is in play.
Mike, quiet 10. Yeah.
If this is made, pretty comfortable spot for Team Saskatchewan. They know at worst they're going to be an extra end. It would have to be a skips deuce from Adam to move on to play 9.
Tough for Adam to get one in a spot that's buried and not accessible. Saskatchewan has 2 rocks sort of on the intern side of the sheet that are both raisable too. So
Close, clean.
Yeah, without a miss on this one, and this one just jumped on him. They're going to have to work hard to get this by the guard. They got to watch it don't raise in the other yellow.
Okay.
So what do you do now if you're Ontario? You're lying one. You got to get a second one in there. Is the outturn freeze available?
that's what I was looking at. I don't know if Adam can get around wide with the outturn to even get a hair low with a little tap back weight and get under that red guard that Dean just threw. He's looking at something on these red ones over on the other side of the sheet.
You just mentioned these reds are in a very good spot right now for Team Saskatchewan. Adam may be looking to just a little skinny chopping live was the term back when I could make some shots. Just so sort of a heavy little draw here, wiggling off of it. They're going to go with the timeout.
Ontario's last timeout being called here. They'll have about 1:45 left after this timeout expires. So no
This has
time
been
concern.
an excellent game here. You can see why both these teams are fighting to be top of the table. So now what they're thinking of doing, instead of the chap and lie option, maybe throwing this harder, trying to create some action off the rock they're going to hit, spring the yellow over, so come through here, shooter rolls over here, and tap this rock so it's frozen. It will not be removable, and your shooter will sit here. So this is a yellow one, this is a yellow one, and there'll have to be some for it. It'd be a short run back available, but if there's a mistake made by Dean, and he's made very few of them, potential 3-ender. You like this?
I do. It's a good call. Adam's trying to roll over, like you said, into his yellow, maybe even tap his yellow frozen to that red one sort of back tee line. Line shot for Adam, not an easy one. He's got to be a little careful. I'd expect this wouldn't be thrown with too much weight just to be able to control the shooter.
Playing the out turn. When I first looked at it, it looked more like an in-turn shot to me.
Yeah, it did to me too. The in-turn would actually roll a little flatter too, which might be to Adam's benefit, but not a big deal. Turn preference here.
Yep, hard Stu. Yep, hard Stu. Yep, hard Stu. Yep, you got it, Stu.
Wow.
Oh, it actually touched the back of the Red Rock top 12.
But ends up in a well, as good as he could do, basically, because I think it was very hard to avoid that. Adam just I swear, watch the movie Big Lebowski. He's the dude. Like right now, if he was allowed to, he'd just be sipping on a White Russian out there.
Yes, he would. About as good as Adam could do on that one. It looks like, in hindsight, it was always going to touch the back of that red one, biting the top of the 8-foot as he came off it towards the center line. But pretty good shot for Adam. Mission accomplished. He's sitting 2. Dean's got to be careful here.
Dean's a shot maker. We've seen it all game. He's got an opportunity here. He'd love to make the raise double. That would end it. But he'd also be very happy in this situation to kill one stone and guarantee hammer going to the extra end here. So this could be the final shot of the game. Raise double attempt. Dean Granum Skip of Saskatchewan, curling out of the Sutherland Curling Club in Saskatoon. 2010 national champion here at the Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships. On it right away. Good sign, because this runs fairly straight. Wow. Think he probably did enough to force the draw for 2.
This one, that one, no.
Nice shot there from Dean. They were on and off at most of the sheet and just had to curl.
Do we
up.
have a replay on that one, guys? Just don't know about that.
Did I call that right?
Yeah. They were worried that that one rock hit the sideboard. It clearly did not. Thanks, guys. Crew does a great job. I mean, don't get me wrong. We absolutely entertain them, and they're very happy to have the opportunity to listen to us. But they do a great job, and they put in some long days, boy. They're here for all 3 games.
Yeah, well, you show up here at noon, and you're not done, and they're not done until the end of the night draw. So credit to them too. And like you said, I've heard some giggles there through the mic at a couple times over the course of the week. But
huge shot, Adam Spencer, out turn draw. It's got to be full 8-foot. Trying to force the extra end. This game is it's been so well played by both teams. Saskatchewan's overcome a couple of very tough breaks.
Still a little.
Nice touch there by Adam.
No, we go that way.
Extra end it is, tied at 6. The extra end will decide the winner of Pool A. We've got a few finals out there. Quebec defeated Alberta 7-3.
Good, they want us to play a little more.
BC over Nova Scotia 7-4.
Just had to come up and hit.
Newfoundland and Labrador a winner over New Brunswick 9-1. Northern Ontario was forced to a single. They're going extra end versus Manitoba. And then the game beside us, PEI leads the Yukon 6-4. Yukon with the hammer. This is our first overtime game of the week. Small mistake in my contract. I did not negotiate an hourly wage or any overtime built into the extra end. So maybe retroactively I'll be able to talk to Randy about that.
Something to consider for sure, but kind of fit in for this game. It's been a pretty even battle by both teams the whole way along. So kind of fit in that we're going to the extra here, and Dean and Saskatchewan will have the hammer.
Be interested to see. Again, we haven't seen any extra ends. Again, on television, it'd be nothing but tick shots here. These guys are certainly good enough and capable to make that, but sometimes they say first in wins. So Adam will throw a center guard here for sure. And you could have Darren Cam try the tick, or maybe he just loops one around in the top 4, full 8 foot. Be interested to see how they approach this end.
A lot of talk about the tick shot kind of over the last few years as leads have become pretty automatic at it at the top level. Your thoughts on the tick? Is there a...
You know what? Like, my thought is right now they've definitely earned the right to throw the tick because they fought the whole game to get there. I mean, people forget we used to play with no free guard zone, so I don't know. I think the tick right now, I understand there could be a good rule that your rock has to touch the center line, so it would be, and Darren's going to take on the tick here. In order for the team not to be able to play the tick shot, your rock has to touch part of the center line. But I don't know. How about you? What do you think? I know Weagle hates it.
Yeah, like leads have just gotten so good at it, and I know there's been some experiments done. Like you said, if your rock's touching the center line, you can't tick it. If the lead makes both ticks perfect in an extra end, it's generally your skip's going to have a relatively easy shot to win more times than not. So it's really credit to the leads in the sport that we're even having that conversation, right? But
yes. That tick did not work out. Just over curled for Darren. Tapped them into the 4. Adam's going to, I don't know if he's going to directly guard this. It might be even more important just to get this second guard tucked in around the red or somewhere right on the center line. It's very early in the end to care too much about who shot rock is.
Yep. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Right here, perfect.
We gotta go for that.
The ice has either got a lot quicker or Steve just got a better feel for it based on his first rock of the game and what he's doing now.
yeah, well, we made a note of that for our post-game debrief too when we talked to the team. So we'll have to ask Steve about that one and what exactly happened on that first shot.
Well, I got a split time of 7.26, so
generally
hair light,
little light.
I like this call. This is, although he's playing across the face. Like, he could peel his own guard here, but he can't peel it into one of the yellows.
He can't peel the yellow one.
So I think they played the wrong turn here. Wow, to chip it over. You know what? He's just a better curler than I am. That's all I'm going to say. That was a hard shot.
Can't question that one.
Like, are you kidding me? I think we might have to try to steal Darren for our club team. Are we allowed an import?
I think we might have just rounded it our team.
Yeah,
actually.
That was unreal. That was like Kate Moss on a diet thin.
Called and made.
But Yellowstone's
Gotta go.
in a great position. Wow, a pick. That one definitely grabbed, and not only does it disturb the line, but the weight gets murdered, and that's a hog. That's, let's be honest, Saskatchewan's had a couple horrible breaks themselves that they've been able to overcome, and that's a big one right there for Team Ontario.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah,
It's part of the game. Some people, you should get to rethrow it.
Yep.
I mean, how do you prove whether it's a pick or just a Rob Doherty intern? You don't know.
Okay.
Bit of a break for Ontario there. Jack unable to roll the shooter away. If things play out right now and a bunch of guards and a bunch of peels are made, Dean's going to have to draw the full 4-foot to win this game. Your main goal in this situation when you're playing with Glenn, does he have a preference on out-turn, intern?
It's, I mean, no. I mean, he's
Yeah,
great with
he
both
makes
turns,
them all,
obviously.
yeah.
But if I had to say, I think he probably prefer to throw his intern. So our goal when we're playing an extra end, at least the way I think about it, is leave Glenn a draw to the 4-foot. You play the whole end to kind of leave him that. If he's throwing to the 4-foot for the win, you're generally pretty happy. And if he had if he had a preference, I think he'd probably say he'd prefer to throw the intern draw. But I mean, with Tim sweeping on your intern, I can't blame him. But
Yeah, Timmy, great sweeper. And probably like a top 30, 40 lead thrower in Ontario. Like he was a B-level player in my club at Denalda. That's what I'm basing that off of. That looked like one of Tim's hits maybe there. That's, you know what, Jack's had a great game today. Didn't come up with the goods there, but he's probably going to be required later in this end to sweep a draw, so he's just got to regroup, get back in there, help his team out. Very lucky break there for Ontario. Greg now has a chance to just, you want to probably guard the rock on the center line?
I think so. If you can straight guard the rock on the center line, I mean, that rock side 4-foot is probably not good enough to score. So you're still playing a little bit of setup, and Adam's probably going to look to try and get one in a better spot eventually, depending on what happens in the next couple shots.
That ends up exactly where they wanted it. Tim March, by the way, is an excellent curler, throwing and sweeping. I just like to bust Tim's chops.
Oh, yeah.
He overachieved marriage-wise for sure. Michael Steckler, third stone here for Saskatchewan. He'd love to. He could make the double peeler if he just misses the other guard. He might even clip the one on the 4-foot. Don't know if that's possible. Might find out. It's a good shot. I mean, he leaves his red there. It's better than having a yellow one up there. Access for sure now to the rock that is in the rings. They're going to look to plug the hole here with Greg's last.
Not much, but just a bit, Spence.
This one's out there. This needs to curl. Might have to play the little chip off the red. I don't think it's going to curl enough. There is a hole. Do you play it? Nah, see, I like that. This is a confident skip right here. Some guys will make a play on shot rock, and now he's going to go do that, and then it makes it look like he's not confident. Even though you can play either shot. I like the double peel here because you're always going to have that in-turn draw. They're going to go call their Everest extra end timeout. Little alliteration there, eh? Everest extra end. You see what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dean's whole goal here is to leave himself the easiest shot possible. So I kind of was with you. I would probably be inclined to play the double peel.
We seem to be on the same page. I'm looking forward to playing with you next year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great.
Do I phone Glenn and tell him what do we do there? I can do it.
If you could, yeah. I mean, we'll have to run that by my agent too. He's a busy man.
We'll wait till after provincials. But
the Yogi's offer us to calm down a little bit, I think. Need to let the boys out there digest on that one, but
what you go play for them? What do? They pay in potatoes? Like what happens?
At best, probably.
Yeah. So. I really like the double peel here. I mean, things can go wrong. If you try to play through the hole, you ever get a little tight, you hit the red rock, you're really not even helping yourself at all. Even if you do make the hit and stay, Adam still has the draw around staggered center. It's right to the button. So I love the double peel here, but you know what? It's up to them.
Wait, Mikey, let's go.
Listening in on Mike, listening in on Mike, it kind of sounded like Dean was favoring double peel, and Mike referenced the shot through the hole a couple times.
I mean, it shows both guys are super confident. One, Mike's like, give me the shot through the hole, I'll make it.
Like that? You got it.
And Dean is like, all you got to do is leave me a draw, and I'm going to make that. So they've opted to go with the double peel.
Yep. No. Yep. Yep. Hard. Yeah. Hard. Come on.
Good.
Chipped it over there. Now, it's in the way now for the in-turn draw to some extent.
Oh, we had to get that.
It is, yeah.
Didn't end up in a great spot,
You just
right?
heard Team Saskatchewan there saying that it doesn't necessarily help them, like you said, that it's pretty much right in the way of the in-turn draw. So if this guard's made properly, no real way to access shot stone or the forefoot for Dean without going really wide around the in-turn.
PI able to hold on, defeat the Yukon. Unfortunate news for the Yogi. That's going to wrap up the year-to-date pre-Christmas for Team PI. I think the Yogis might finish up second. Other games still extra and out here. The guys from Northern Ontario, Manitoba is in very good shape in the extra, looking to finish the round robin undefeated. On our game here, Adam Spencer, Skip of Ontario, intern guard, just wants to close down the hole here, maybe just bite the center line, but cross the center line.
Disagree.
Okay. Probably needs to curl a bit.
Okay, you can go at the end with Stu.
You ready, Stu?
Good communication by Adam to the front end and vice versa here.
We got it.
Yep. Yep.
Hard Stu.
That's a good stone.
Hard Stu.
They closed the hole enough.
Looks like it. Dean might have the chance here to make the double peel on the guards and get his shooter sort of through that hole and out of the way. It would accomplish opening up the shot stone and that in-turn draw.
Yeah, so you're thinking he plays double peel, super thin on the one he's hitting first, clips the back of the other yellow, gets it out of the way, and then the shooter rolls somewhere towards the rings. Even if you lost the shooter, right, you don't care. You've opened up your draw.
Exactly. It's going to be the next one. That's Dean's shot to score, rock to score. So where the shooter goes here, not too important, but he definitely does want to get it out of the way, I think.
I mean, it's funny, in juniors, you try the run back here. You miss it, you're dead. This is a veteran call here by Dean.
Whoa.
He's whipped it down there with some speed.
Yep. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
And did exactly, wow, I think just a hair unlucky. Maybe they had to hit it a hair thicker.
Whisker thicker, still good though. If Adam makes the guard on shot rock, it still has moved that yellow over enough where Dean should have the in-turn draw with a little bit more space there. So good shot by Dean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can see where Adam's taking for this guard. So for Dean to draw the forefoot, he probably needs a foot, maybe even a foot and a half more ice. That yellow rock should not be in the way.
We'll judge weight, they'll judge line.
Sort of out of Ontario's hands here right now. All they can do is put up the best guard possible. And then it would be out of nature for them because they're such nice guys, but they have to pray for a miss. Final shot here in the extra end for Adam Spencer. Just through this guard, so I would expect this to be very close.
I like it. It's a little more. Okay, do you want me to hit it? You want me to hit it?
Hit it a bit. line should be good.
Again, good communication there between Adam and Jeff.
You want a card?
No, no. Yeah, a little bit, too. A little bit, little bit.
Good job here by Steve at the end just to carve it. It's a perfect guard, but look at this, no delay at all. Broom's down, and Dean's been playing for this shot the entire end. They could have gone through the hole earlier, but he says, no, I got you, boys. So it's an in-turn draw for the win. Move the team to a record of 5-1 to win Pool A. Big, deep breath there out of Dean. I really like his chances of making this. He's played great all game. And again, like his whole mindset this end was he knew this shot was going to be the one for the win. It's full 4.
Line's great. Just for weight. Come on, guys.
Line's good all day.
Room. Come on. Oh, easy. Take a look. Take a look. Stay with it.
14-4 hog to hog there. Sweepers seem to like it.
Looks good.
Right
what
on the nail.
A great shot to end a great curling game. Congratulations to Team Saskatchewan. They moved to 5-1. A great round robin for Team Ontario as well. Dave, that was a great game, and thank you for joining me in the booth. Our next draw is tonight, 7:30, ladies action, Alberta versus Manitoba. We're signing off here from the Ottawa Hunt Club, but we'll be back tonight at 7:30 for the Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships.